You are listening to the sounds of the Right On Network.
Hello and welcome to this episode of On the Record Jams, brought to you by the Right On Network. This is episode 34. I'm AJ.
And I'm Arthur.
Yes, Arthur. Okay, man, 2025, February. We're in the middle of it. This is
2026. 2026.
Why did I say 2025? I've been saying 2026 nonstop. 2026, man. We are the Jetsons.
The cars aren't flying, though.
Nah, you don't want that.
The phone is flying for us, right? That's what we need, right? Okay.
That phone is folding time like you wouldn't believe. So, on this episode, we are talking about the MC from Rochester, New York. I think that may be in upstate New York. 38 Spesh. All right. Before we really jump into that, Arthur, do you know who produced this record Early Morning? Is he producing it?
I think he is producing some of this stuff, but there's a producer. His name is Shamir, and I don't know that producer name. So Shamir is one that's credited with this, but I know 38 produces stuff too.
Because you sent that video, so I'm like, man, this. So before we jump into it, because we did mention that it's February 2026 and the Super Bowl just happened. This is a music podcast, and last year you and I on the Patreon, we talked about the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl halftime show, and you and I, we were talking about something, and then I was like, oh, I want to save this for the show. So on this one, 2026 Super Bowl halftime show, it was Bad Bunny. And the only song that I have of Bad Bunny's is this one called La Ramona. Guys, y'all got it. Look, I was somewhere in an establishment and they played this and it was great. And then they do like I guess what you and I would call like a beat change. And okay. I'm just like, tear the club up, guys. Everybody tear the club. Like, and I knew that we were going to play this because, okay, here's the deal. So, like, I saw the halftime show. I thought it was great. It was... In a weird way, it was a reminder of why I love Doctor Who so much. They were doing so many things in there. I was like, this is Doctor Who. But anyway, like maybe some people ask me about this, I may be inventing a straw man, but this is my take on the whole thing. So like, I'm boring. All right. So like, I like stuff like The Strokes, where it's like, hey, we're a band. We just stand up here and play. That's it. So like, I have friends where like they love Katy Perry, and like when they go watch Katy Perry, it's like, it's a circus. Like, it is like, man, things are flying from the sky. There's light shows. It's costume changes. People are flipping around, right? That is what you're going to invite to the Super Bowl. At the, I guess they were in California, in Northern California, so it made sense. They had Green Day because they're from Oakland. And they were the opening act. And that was, hey, we're just standing here and playing. But for the halftime show now, I think it's going to be rare where it's going to be Alicia Keys just on the piano just playing. It's going to be Whitney Houston, like, I'm just standing at this microphone and I'm just singing. Like, so that's out. So from my point of view, if it's like The Weeknd where like he was going through corridors, the camera was moving. With Bad Bunny, it seemed like they were like on 1,000 sets, the camera was moving. That's going to be a lot of, like, we got to do choreography. Like, okay, at this point, when you hit this mark, we're going to cut the camera over here. That's going to give you this time to do this wardrobe change. And then you're going to have to be here. And then when that green light comes on, then it's going to be, like, if I'm a singer and I'm just standing here singing, I don't need to know all those cues. Dude, I'm a rock carrier, dude. I'm not going to be flipping around, jumping around. I'm just singing. So when they go... So what do you think about this person doing the Super Bowl? Man, I don't know how to say this in a disrespectful way, but without being disrespectful. But like, if it's Katy Perry, if it's The Weeknd, if it's Usher, where I don't roller skate, but all that roller skating stuff, I was like, this is incredible. Because he wasn't lip syncing, he was still singing. So I'm like, how are you doing this? To Kendrick Lamar, where the choreography, like we're making our shirts form the flag and then our shirts doing this, to Bad Bunny. I'm not saying all of that is the same, but for me, that's all the same because at the end of the day, it's like, dude, we have to entertain these people. We got to entertain the crowd that is there. And then we got to entertain the crowd that's watching this on television, where you go back and watch a 1983 football game or basketball game. It's like, dude, we got the camera and we're moving it left to right. Now, guys, they got drones. They got cameras on wires. Dude, we're in the O-line's face and we're seeing the breathing. So it's all these angles. You can't just, like, if I was in a coma in 1998 and I just wake up and watch a football game, you're going to be like, whoa, this is totally different. So that's my take on the halftime show, is that and you're going to be doing these madly melodies where it won't be just Paul McCartney performing one song. You're going to do like you're at a club in 2001 and the DJ, they're going to play like that first half of Stop, Drop, Shut 'Em Down, Open Up Shop, where it's one verse and then it's going to jump into something else. You ain't going to play a whole song. So for me, the experience is always going to be the same. You're not going to get the Rolling Stones, Mick Jagger, and like, we're just going to stand here. Maybe Mick Jagger might move around, do the funky chicken a little bit, but like them just performing one song, 3 songs incomplete total, and we're just standing here playing, that's over. So if you don't get Bad Bunny, you're going to get something like it. I don't know if that makes sense or if that was disrespectful, but that's where my head is at.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, some people call it a spectacle. I mean, if you go back, and I know people are slaves to the moment because people got to be mad right now about something that's happening right now. But if you have a historic mind for this stuff, or if you just have Wikipedia and you just want to go look, and you can see when it stopped being marching bands and the one group standing in one spot singing a bunch of songs, and now, like you say, you have production value now. You have the ability to do, I don't want to call it movie level cameras, but maybe that's kind of what it is, right?
Yeah, it's beyond that. Yeah, it's beyond movie level. This is some, like we're saying, a production.
Yeah, if you can think it, you can do it level camera work. And it's like, yeah, you can't waste that on a stand in one spot type performance. So even the singers, like you bring up The Weeknd, right? And it's like, they got The Weeknd, and The Weeknd is kind of a stand in one spot singing weird songs type dude.
And he was moving around.
And they made that sucker move. And he had to dress it up. And he had to go through the little set pieces. And he had to be in a car. Like, he had to do some stuff. Because even with that, they wouldn't let him just sit there. Rihanna was pregnant. They made her move. They made her do stuff. Dr. Dre was coming off like a brain aneurysm. Like, AKA the guy almost died. And him and Snoop and them, like, they had to do shenanigans. And they had to have more than one set piece. People popping up from underneath stuff and coming down from another thing into a thing. Like, they had to do the stuff. And you don't get to cheat that. Yeah, you had to, shenanigans, theatrics, whatever you want to call it. Like, you got to do that because that's a part of the show. Because that's what they're doing now. So that's going to be a part of who they pick and why they pick. And everybody's got to understand their iPad is not the master of the universe. Their Spotify playlist that they listen to every day that's got 300 songs on it, that's not the master of the universe. There's going to be other stuff. And yeah, I know sometimes I hear who these people are going to be. And sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, they thinking about me right there. And sometimes I hear who it's going to be. And I'm like, oh yeah, I don't know anything about that. And then I go on about my life because I'm a grown-up and I got stuff to do.
And also, when they announce who the halftime person is, I can never think about it because I'm so angry that it's not the Bears versus the Houston Texans. So I'm so angry about that, I can't worry about the halftime show. So.
Yeah. And who is it going to be? Like, you know what I mean? We always joke about, okay, if it's going to be whatever weird person I want it to be and I'm just going to ignore the whole 200 million people that are going to watch this. It's like, okay, yeah, do you really want Rock Marciano rapping and singing for 15 minutes? Do you really want that? And I was like, I think I would want that, but that don't mean I deserve that, and that don't mean it's the best idea for a Super Bowl doggone halftime. It came to me in a dream, but I was asleep. Oh, I can love it. I would love it. I mean, I can hear him. I'm not perfect, but I'm close. I'm like, dude, he's got hella songs, but not for that. So I get it. It's not going to be him.
Hey, we got our Super Bowl. We got the Griselda boys on the Tonight Show. That is insane. Even I'm against that. Like, that should not have happened, but it did. So
of course it did. And that lets you know there's people in there with our mindset trying to sneak stuff in there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, folks, the Roots are hosting the Tonight Show. That is an alternative world itself.
And it's
so
been
we got our
so
Super
long,
Bowls.
and it's just normal. Like, it's just, this has been happening so long that people don't even think it's weird anymore.
Yeah. I remember before the Batman came out, the one that came out like in 2019, but when it was coming out, this kid asked me, they're like, hey, what do you think about this new Batman with so-and-so, so-and-so? And I was just like, you know what? Here's the deal, kid. I got mine. I got my Nolan trilogy. So if this is good or not, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm living bonus life right now. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
yeah, playing with house money, yeah.
I'm playing with house money. Like, when we were in the 90s, they would have these hood movies, and it's before some of them they would say, you know, the average young black man will die before 22. I'm 47. Dude, I'm playing with house money. Like, what am I upset about? Like, what am I? Like, dude, this is easy. This is nothing.
We weren't supposed to make it past 25. Jokes on you were still alive. Yeah.
Yeah. I survived a major metropolitan city in America from 88 to 92. This is Candyland. Get out of here.
Right. Yes.
Well, so we got 38 Spesh.
Yeah, we have 38 Spesh. So we're doing early morning. I don't know if this is the right landing place for him, but the idea here is just to talk about 38 Spesh being a really good rapper. And he's what people used to, I think, call a mixtape rapper, but they would say it in a derogatory way. And I think we've talked about this before, right? Because like after the mid-90s, what happened is rappers were getting 3 and 4 videos for their albums. And you got like these superstar people, or these people that have at least some level of superstar leanings to them. So like Biggie and Tupac were like large characters. And then they had the mystique surrounding their deaths. And those guys made double CDs, 20-something songs on an album. And they had all the guests. And they had singing. And they had rapping. And they had different cadences. And they had different people that you wouldn't expect to be on the album doing random stuff on the album. Different producers. All this different stuff. And people can say, oh, well, it would have been better if it was one disc. Number one, shut up. Number two, they pulled it off. But this is what happened. They pulled it off. And so then what happened is all these other rappers started trying to pull it off too. And if you want to talk about the quality of those 2 albums, look at the failures of so many other acts that tried to do it. Obviously, the main success is Wu-Tang, of course. Wu-Tang pulled it off better than anybody else. They had the collective, they had the raps, they had the steadiness of the production. Wu-Tang Forever is kind of it as far as double CDs go. That's not a rebellious statement, and I know it's not rebellious to you. But again, I say all that to say, we came out of that and people start expecting rappers to have all this variance to their stuff. And so we watched a lot of guys that weren't those type of rappers spin their wheels trying to pretend they were those type of rappers. You know what I'm talking about? Yes. Like that late 90s, early 2000s, you got to have the street single. And then now you got to have the radio song. And then you got to have the song with the random R&B singer on the hook. And then you got to have your song where you're rapping about relationships. And then you got to have the song where we got to quit acting a fool, y'all. We got to really get all about our stuff. And it's like, well, wait a minute, dude. You've been talking about shooting people and acting a fool and how tough your group is for like an hour and 10 minutes.
Now you have a children's choir.
Now you got a children's choir and talking about I'm so glad I made it, y'all, and all that. And it's like, okay, dude, you can do that if you want to, but you don't have to do that. But we hit like a little ugly spot where guys started acting like they had to do that. That's a lot of talking to say what we love most about a 38 Special is he doesn't do any of that. He doesn't try to do any of that. He doesn't need to do any of that. He just shows up with the raps, and it's excellent.
So this is what happened, Arthur. So as a society, the family was in front of the radio listening to, the Green Hornet. But we're all in front of the radio. We're all in front of the radio listening to this boxing match. We're all in front of the radio listening to the Yankees. Then, boom, we get 3 television channels. So if the Beatles hit Ed Sullivan and you had a TV, chances are you all watched it. And then we get in the 80s and 90s, and there's cable, and now the family is dispersed. Okay, the daughter's in there watching ESPN, the son's in here watching Nickelodeon, and the parents are watching Fox News or whatever. So they're dispersed. Now, boom, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Snapchat, all this stuff. So we're very dispersed. So now it's like, okay, don't worry. I mean, you and I, we've been having this conversation for now 2 decades. Don't worry about getting the masses. You get yourself a cult following, a loyal following, and just sell to them specifically. So, like, I'm all about, like, watching the artist grow. Like, hey, like, I like the Beatles, whereas, like, I want to hold your hand to Sgt. Pepper. It's like, whoa, they're not the same people anymore. You just threw me off. So I'm all for, like, hey, man, let that artist experiment. But if an artist goes like, hey, here's the deal. I'm going to do this subgenre within a subgenre within a subgenre. And if you like this, I'm going to be this brand you can count on. And I'm not saying that, like, Interpol, they've been doing the same thing since 2000, but they kind of have, and it's great. It's wonderful. And with this 38 Spesh and people that are in this subgenre, where it's like, okay, look, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be this good rapper. I'm going to be a witty rapper. I'm going to be a witty MC. And I'm going to stick with this subject matter because I'm going to flip how many ways I can talk about this topic and use so many metaphor, joke, double entendre stuff where you'd be like, man, how'd you do it that time? And how did he do it this time? Wow. And then something must have happened. Again, I got to talk to Delvin. I got to talk to DJ Merck, all right? He's a sounder right on network. And I remember I played this West Side Gun song to him. I forget the name of it, but it sounded very RZA-esque with the soul samples. And I remember he listened and he went, okay, back then, what they're doing here, they wouldn't have been able to do this. And it was something like with technology and syncopation and how it was all synced up, they're like, they wouldn't have been able to do it. But now you can do this stuff. So, like, on this album, The Mom, The Mother, and The Gun, this is, like, consistent. And all of the music is like, oh, man, this is stuff where, like, a long time ago, I wish someone would do this, but, like, 3 of the songs would sound like this, and the rest would be kind of like what was going on everywhere. But it's like, no, we can do this now. Boom, 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 consistent. 38 Spesh.
Yes, absolutely. And not only can you do it, but if you're good at it, that's exactly what you should do. Like, do that. I don't know, dude, you don't need Mariah on the hook, dude. If that ain't what you got, if that ain't the type of rapping you could do, there's a lot of different ways to get this right. And you just got to find your universe where what you do works and do it. Do it well, do it consistently, do it in a way where people can count on it. And oh, by the way, because we're dealing with more like digital means, and then you can sell the wax, you can sell the CDs, you can sell all that different stuff. But, dude, you don't got to do this for an hour and 10 minutes every time. Especially if you're going to do it on a regular basis. Like, we're talking about this guy, 38 Spesh, right? He's around our age, but at least a little bit younger, like born in 84. But, man, he's been having albums since 2007. He talks about it a lot. He went to jail at some point. He came back out, and then he just started back making albums. And, man, this dude's got like 20 albums by himself, plus a whole bunch of collaboration stuff. Like him and Benny the Butcher work together a lot, which, my goodness.
Makes sense. Totally makes sense.
It makes sense. Somebody got in the room, somebody looked at a graph, somebody listened to some music and said, man, this kind of goes together. Man, you know what we should do? Like, we should do songs together. Because now, when I do my one verse and stop, you do a verse, or man, we can split. We can go back and forth and rhyme against each other almost as a sport, but keep it reasonable and friendly and not ruin the aesthetic of the music. And man, this will be a good time. This will be something that we can kind of cross-section fans, make sure that people that know about me know about you and vice versa. And it's smart stuff. And it's a way to kind of mix it up without, jumping the shark, right?
Absolutely. There's so there's this young band. These guys, they got to be under 28 years old. They call Greta Van Fleet. And they sound like Led Zeppelin, but they're today because enough time has gone by. So, like, and especially like, okay, I guess like the 80s and 90s, like imagine in the 80s and 90s, and I'm 38 years old, and I'm like, dude, I'm not listening to grunge or whatever. I'm not listening to the Guns N' Roses. I'm listening to Led Zeppelin. Like, you're going to see me in this record store with a Led Zeppelin t-shirt on because I'm just going to keep doing this. And I think what happened was, because especially with hip hop and, young culture, you kind of want to find that new wave. So you're like, why are you still rapping like those people from like 1988, 2000? Like, why are you still doing that? And then something happened where I keep doing this. Hey, it's okay. It's okay. Hey, it's okay. So something must have happened where it's like, hey, it's okay to rap like this and like to have this sound. There's this market for it where like the folks are older and now it's young people. They're the 90s having this recursive moment. So you can do this and it might have some modern sensibilities to it. Plus, it sounds like late 90s underground New York boom bap rap. Here we go. And we'll sprinkle some of that Wu-Tang Clan kind of RZA quirkiness on it, and then bam, voila. And it's like, to me, when I listened to this album Early Morning, or this album Mother and Gun, I was just like, this is just consistently good. Even Method Man's on this album because it was just, everything was always interesting. His raps were interesting, and the production underneath was always interesting. So it's like, okay, I can listen to this.
Right, and his cadence, his delivery, his rhyme scheme approach, sometimes his rhyme scheme approach is really, it's almost the same, but it's like you say, like, how is he going to do this again? Like, how is he going to rhyme 4 and 5 syllables for the whole verse every time? Like how good of a rapper do you have to be to rap the way this dude raps? Like, sure, he's got the accent where he can cheat sometimes with the words, but you still have to be really consistent and really serious about your craft to be able to pull this off. And he's not dressing it up a whole lot either. Like, he's got hooks and stuff. Maybe once every 15 songs or so, somebody will show up with a little bit of kind of sort of singing. But a lot of
like
times
Stovetop
the
God.
beats are hard. Yeah, but the beats are like really hard, and he's rapping really well over all of this. Like, it's really impressive, man. And you sit back and listen to it, you jump around on some of these albums, not just this Mother and Gun, but Mother and Gun is really, really good. But you can jump around on some of the mixtapes, because he's also, again, he's from that mixtape rapper era. Like, you could tell that's what inspired him. So sometime when he's getting ready to come out with an album, he does the mixtape before the album.
Circuit. Yeah.
And so he's
the
like, hey,
freestyle
I'm
circuit.
here. Yeah, like, hey, I'm going to freestyle over these known beats just so that you can get into your head that, like, hey, I can rap, period. And now I got an album coming out where I'm going to rap about the stuff I want to rap about. And it's going to be some personal thing or some just my normal thing. But here's just me rapping just so you get it through your head. And it's like, yeah, that's smart.
And he knows how to put a record together. So he's like, hey, I can do these mixtapes. I can go on these radio shows and do these freestyles. But I can also put together a proper record and this is just like a little short example, because especially with this, on this album, Mother and Gun, this song, Early Morning, is the lead off song to the album. It's the opener.
Yep.
And it seems like, okay, I got out the game and I'm freshly looking back. Whereas when we talked about the clips, it's years have gone by and we're reflecting back. This like freshly out the game. And he says, it's hard to explain all the pain that the game teaches me.
That's a lot of
I stopped selling right there. It's hard to explain all the pain that the game teaches me. I stopped selling cocaine recently. People see me doing good and you ain't. You can't beef with me. You can only attract things on the same frequency. I mean, right there. That's philosophy right there.
Right.
I give help and it turned to hate easily. Love turned to hate, then the hate became thievery. I gave all y'all a piece of me evenly. I expected y'all to treat me with the same decency. Guys, come on. Dude. See, okay, what I'm saying here on this is controlled, and this isn't, maybe he did fart it out. But this is craft, and this is, hey, I'm in control, and I crafted this. Like, I made this happen.
Yes, it's storytelling, it's picture painting, and again, it's just flat out good rapping, because that's a mountain of rhyming that you can hear just from somebody reading the lyrics. And oh, by the way, so the game teaches me is the rhyme scheme. So everything rhymes with the game teaches me. And so he keeps on going, but got grudges and they hold in and they sneaky. Find out your dogs is not the same species. I love that. Yes. My brother died, and just in case you ain't noticed, I'm trying to figure out why your condolences, ain't reach me. So he's doing the embedded rhyme scheme within the...
Guys,
whatever.
The embedded rhyme scheme stuff, we live for it, right?
Just wonderful. It's funny how y'all focus and can't beat me. Dealing with them hateful emotions just ain't easy. In the trap house, we ate Lay's and Reese's. I said I'd be reached, they ain't believe me. Trust. And man, trust is like his little period. Or it's like when he does a verse and it's almost like when he knows he killed it, he says trust. He doesn't do it after every verse. But man, when he says trust, I'm like, all right. This guy is so good. And that's just the intro. Again, he didn't overstay his welcome. He didn't come back with another verse. That's the whole song for the intro of this album.
Arthur, can you talk about the music?
Man, you know what it is.
We love this, guys.
It's that sample stuff.
The soul samples?
It's the soul samples where the sample is saying something that's related to the song. It's that some people, I call it the Rockefeller stuff. Some people call it the Wu-Tang. Whatever you want to call it. Like
the Supreme Clientele.
The Supreme Clientele, the Blueprint One, the early 2000s Rockefeller stuff where they all had to have the sample and the talking back to the sample, and the sample says something and you're like, yeah, but I didn't quit. And it's like, okay, I get it, dude. You hear the sample, I hear the sample. You're talking back to the words in the sample. Okay, great. I love it. Keep doing it. I'm not even gonna act like I'm annoyed by it, because I'm not. I love it. Do it every song if you want to. I don't care.
Oh, if you did it every song, I'd be happy.
Yeah.
So Arthur, there's a pain and a struggle in this sample and this production, and also something I hear a lot. Whenever I hear it, I think about Kramer talking about this with George. But something I think the young people are talking about, yearning. It's a yearning going on in this music as well, with the singing.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like the singer is in pain.
Yep.
Is yearning out, and they're trying to get out the struggle. And then the video is interesting.
Oh my God. Yeah.
They got the doctor there, and he's eating. He got the New York Yankees hat on.
Yep.
Insane,
man. But it's like you hear these dudes, and sometimes it's to the point where so many rappers have these hustler stories, came up rough, stuff wasn't right at the house. I started acting a fool, getting in trouble, but I was making money, so I thought I'd be able to fix all my problems with my money. I thought I had friends that all had the same problems, and we were going to figure it out all together because, friends. And then what do you know? You keep hearing the same stories over and over, right? Like the deceit, the betrayal, the man, I thought we were all in on this together, but then somebody didn't like they cut of the heist, you know, and then you start selling each other out and they're going to jail and coming out. And it's just because you hear it a lot doesn't mean it's not a valuable story, right? And 38 Spesh has his version of that story, and he just keeps coming back to it, giving you little pieces of it. He still can't tell you everything, man. But like even on Sacrifice, like the song after the intro, and man, we're talking about a different song now, but I'm still talking about 38 Spesh. If you know anything about me, the sample for that song, Sacrifice, it's the same sample as Jay-Z and Beans used for It's On. Do you remember that song? It's On?
No, I got to go back to it.
Once again, It's On. And man, it was Jay-Z and Beans splitting verses, and it was long. It was like 5.5 minutes. And it was after like Takeover and Ether and all that. And Jay-Z was ticked. And he was like rapping super hard. And Beans was like, oh, we're rapping hard? I will also now rap super duper hard. And man, when you go listen to that, for 38 Spesh to rap over that same sample, that's a bold move. Because people that know that song love that song. And man, 38 came in hard, man. He came in with his raps. He came in with his hard rap scheme. And man, at the end of that first verse, man, I hide my pain with weed and whiskey. I'm legit, but can't stop thinking about my illegal history. It's hard escaping the evil city. Don't want to make it if I end up taking the wrong people with me. So it's like continuing that story, right? Because again, this guy's crafting this stuff. These aren't accidents. These songs are in a certain order for a certain reason. You know what I mean? Like it's very easy to write these guys off as just street rappers or coke rappers or whatever, but you're robbing yourself of a narrative. You're robbing yourself of some really good storytelling, some really good rapping, and it doesn't matter if you've heard some version of the story before. It's just, man, these dudes are filling in their blanks as best they can, and they're just giving it to us, and they're not cheating us. They're not watering it down. They're not, as the rappers love to say, they're not stepping on the bricks here. They're just telling us. They're laying it all out. They're doing it in 30 minutes. They're getting out of there. They're not wasting your time. They're not doing 26 songs when they only got 10 for you in the moment. This album is like 30 minutes long. It's a
quality product.
And it's quality. It's an easy listen. It's not just 38 for 30 minutes. So he's got guests. He's got chorus on some songs. Other songs, no chorus. And he's just killing it on this whole thing, man. And so I felt like for the type of rapper he is, you can get guilty of putting them all in the same boat. But they're all their own individual thing. And they're trying to get by off of being, you know, in this lane and trying to get people to come to them. Like, hey, man, you like straight ahead rapping, good storytelling? I do that, and I only do that. I don't mess around. You don't need it. Dude, you want to hear Bruno Mars, dude? Bruno Mars is cool. But he ain't going to be on none of my stuff because I don't need him on my stuff. He doesn't need to be on my stuff. We don't need to be together. I listen to Bruno Mars when I want to. But this is this specific thing, and we're really good at it, and we're going to do it. And again, this guy's got like 15 to 20 albums.
Wow.
It's a lot of volume, man. Like, think about where we're coming away from. Like, I've mentioned Tupac and Big, because those guys are on my mind a lot lately, because we just hit the 30-year anniversary of All Eyes on Me. So it's crazy to think about that in terms, because for me, All Eyes on Me is late high school for me. I was already to the point where I didn't have a full day of classwork. So I would get out of school at like 12:30. And this was when albums would come out on Tuesdays. And so what I did is I left school at 12:30. I went to Best Buy, which was close to our high school, as you know. And I went in there. I bought the All Eyes on Me on tape. Got back in the car and just rode around because, you know, gas was like $1.03 a gallon or something. And I just rode around for 2 hours and I listened to the whole thing. And had the time of my life. It was great. And this was February of 96. And I remember that CD or that double album / double CD. Man, that thing was in, like the kids say, it was in rotation. Because it wasn't, and that was an amazing year of rap music. And that was part of the jump off. You were having a
generational run.
We were having a generational run, and I don't know if we knew it that way. But I just know I can tell you for sure that I listened to that album. I listened to Illmatic. Later on in the year, like in the fall when I was starting college, I ended up stumbling into Reasonable Doubt. I was still listening to Infamous. Sorry, folks. I was still listening to the Purple Tape. I was listening to Liquid Swords. Like, I was ready for Iron Man. Like, this is just off the top of my head. Like, 96 was completely out of hand and completely bonkers. And it's like, man, I've been thinking about these guys and that music and just the appreciation for what those fools were trying to accomplish. And I don't even think I don't know if they knew. Like, you talk about generational runs, I think they just knew they had more visibility and they were trying to do the most they could with it based on what they knew. And now we're 30 years removed from that. And, like, we've had so many different big bang moments since then, right? Like, streaming music, before that, music piracy with Napster. The point of, like, you're not having to drive up to Best Buy on a Tuesday and hope that they've taken the music, the CD that you want out of the boxes from the supply closet or whatever. Like, you're not waiting for all that. You're just rolling over in your own house, opening a device and just downloading a whole album in 12 seconds. And then you can listen to it when you feel like it. You go to the gym the next day. You're riding to work the next day, you just throw it on, and there's no effort to get to the music. You just got to know that it's out. And just think about how 38 Spesh has to function in that ecosystem. As good of a rapper as he is, he's got to figure out an angle to get you to listen to his album without, again, jumping the shark and showing up with, whoever, some rapper that completely doesn't fit his stuff, trying to do stuff that doesn't match the type of rapper that he is. Like, for him to be able to pull that off on multiple projects with multiple other artists, because he does collab albums too, man, it's an accomplishment what this dude is pulling off. And it's not just him. Like, all of them are trying to do it in their own way. We talk about Rock Marcy a lot. But it's him, the whole Griselda crew, Larry June, Currency, like a guy that seems to have a lot of resources, but he's pulling off something too. Freddie Gibbs, like, these aren't supposed to be, like, these guys getting 10 and 15 albums is a miracle compared to what we were dealing with in the mid-90s, early 2000s.
And these guys are going on shows, they're going on interviews where they can be seen. Like, this is not a secret. Now, it may be like, you may be listening to this and go like, I've never heard of 38 Spesh. And that's valid because, again, we don't have the 3 channels where, like, we all share the same experience. It's rare. That's why the Super Bowl is such a big deal, because that's one of the few events where all of America, including the world, we're kind of all sharing the same kind of experience either way. So, because there's a lot of subgenre stuff that's out there and cultural things where I was like, oh, I never knew that. So whenever I bump into it, I'm like, okay, I appreciate I know that now, because there was something that was existing in the world that I didn't know about. Huh. All right, now I know it. Yeah.
Right, I agree. I think sometimes too that these type of rappers also make it very clear to me that I don't have any business considering myself an authority. And by that, not because I don't think I have good taste in music, because I'm pretty sure I do, but if I don't know about it, that doesn't mean it's not good. And I think sometimes you need to have something thrown at you, and then you give it a chance and you're like, okay, I see the value in this. and I might add it into the mix of what I listen to all the time. Or maybe I'll just kind of put a pin into it and come back to it from time to time, just when I'm, cleansing my palate or just jumping around. Or sometimes it's like, man, I don't know what to listen to. There's so many different things I like, different eras. Sometimes I use our show as an excuse to jump around into certain things. But other times it's just like, man, I got to come back to this 38 Spesh, man. I listened to this thing like 6 months ago, and I remember loving it. I remember it getting me through some workouts. Let me go back to this and make sure I don't forget about this guy, because man, this is really good stuff. So yeah, he's a in the pocket type of rapper, but man, these raps are so good. And you listen to these videos, and like you say, these guys have content, they do videos, they're around, and it sounds like they make it seem like they're doing okay, right? So I think sometimes we'll get caught up in wondering, like, man, if everybody doesn't know these guys, like, we're from the era where you almost had to go for it. You know, me, you, and Kevin were talking about that in a text conversation. Like, back then, I make fun of people for getting Mariah Carey on the song or blowing your budget because you need Timbaland on a beat. But, like, that's what some of those dudes felt like they had to do. Like, they felt like they had to do that to make it.
You got to chart it up a little bit.
You got to try to get on a chart. You got to try to recoup your money. Like, everything was through the label and the money. And it was like, man, you got to sell a certain amount of records to get your money back, because they're going to give you 2 or 3 videos just to do it. And what we realize now is like, okay, these dudes were getting 2 or 3 videos because they were trying to put these guys in the hole financially, to say, well, if I give Mobb Deep 3 videos, how in the world are they going to make their money back? And then, oops, these guys are making some of the best albums you ever heard in your life, and that's how they got their money back.
Now you can make productions on your phone. So 38 Spesh has a number of videos. You don't have just 2 or 3 videos. He has a whole bunch.
That's right. And he's not having to do that through some kind of a deal. Now, he probably does hella shows, I would guess, but like, he's not going in the hole financially. The whole concept of the business of music now, a lot of it is different. You don't have to go completely crazy into unbelievable debt. So some of the decisions you get to make with your music, that changes. So you get a chance to kind of do it the way you want to do it. You just, like you say, you may never get to a Super Bowl level. You may never go platinum. I mean, when you think about it, man, we think about the big rapper that just put out an album, right? This, I guess, is our excuse to talk about J. Cole too, right? We talked about the Super Bowl from February, but something else we just got with J. Cole's alleged last album, and he made it a double CD, and he's a student of the game rapper. He's probably around the same age as 38 Spesh too, right? About 40 years old, something like that. Student of the game rapper, has had a really good, highly visible career. He has his label. He was Jay-Z's kind of, this is the guy I selected, outside of taking my friends from the hood, after Beans and those guys, after Rockefeller was kind of over with. Kanye had already hit, and now it's like Jay-Z trying to give some off the beaten path guy a chance, and that guy ended up being J. Cole. And he started slow. It was looking like he wasn't going to make it. And he had to, because he was on a bigger label, he did kind of the let me get TLC on a random song. Like, he was doing that type of stuff. And then it still wasn't going amazing. And then he kind of ducked off and started doing his own thing. And then it worked. And so now his album being kind of that last thing, it's funny to see him do a mixtape. We talked about that. Like, he did a 10 or 15 minute mixtape where he rapped over some 90s beats. Well, of course, because he's a good rapper. And he did that. And then he came out with his last album as a double CD. But what this dude's been doing now is he's literally riding around to different cities, shaking hands with the fans, selling CDs out of this old car he used to have, and literally picking up fans and riding around listening to the album with those fans. Like, that's insane to me.
Wow. And we can do that now. But yeah, that's a lot of like your time. Not everybody wants to do it, or they'd be doing it.
Right. You got to have a certain type of love for what you're doing, a certain type of talent, and you got to have the music. You got to have something that you know people are going to like.
People's champ stuff. Yeah, so, man, 38 Spesh, Arthur. Now, this is putting you on the spot. Like we said, like, okay, we like this album. There's a freestyle that I'm going to put in the show links as well to show you all that this guy can do. Because what's funny about a lot of this stuff is this is a subgenre of rap where on the surface it's kind of serious as a heart attack, and then there'll be times where it's laced with jokes and punchlines. So it's a lot going on, right?
Right.
But like 5 songs or like 5 albums or just 5 directions, if someone's like, okay, my primer pack, you have any suggestions for the listeners? Of course, this Early Morning, which has a video to go with it. What else?
I mean, I think you just listen to that whole Mother and Gun album. You listen to all of this 1995 mixtape that he put out.
Yes.
Like, it's like 20 minutes long. He's rapping over classic beats, and he's losing it. Like, completely losing it over and over and over. And it's everything you said. It's the dark humor. It's the jokes. It's the one-liner. It's almost like warm-ups for him. Like, hey, I know this. I wouldn't do this on an album, but I'm just doing this over these beats just to make sure you get that I'm not just getting by off an aesthetic. I'm a good rapper who just happens to have an aesthetic that other people are trying to do too. So 1995 for sure. Special Machinery. So we talked about these collaboration projects. Him and Conway the Machine made an album, and this was 2023. And man, we could have easily done the same episode and been talking about Conway the Machine too. Like, these guys, again, they went like 2 dudes that have been working out for years. They feel like they're in good shape. They say, hey, I'm going to meet you at the gym. Like, that's what these little collaboration albums are a lot of times. And he's done one with Conway, and he's done several of them with Benny the Butcher. So I would say Special Machinery with Conway and both of the Stabbed and Shots with Benny the Butcher, for sure. So if you listen to those, you're going to easily come away with a clear idea that, holy crap, this dude's a good rapper.
And what was did you just mention the EP?
Yeah,
about 15 minutes
long?
long?
1995, yeah.
Guys, yeah.
Because it's classic beats. Like, the idea is he went around 1995 and just took like 10 of the best beats from that time. Because it's like Ice Cream. It's...
Oh, yeah, and there's a video.
Oh, my goodness, dude. Yes. And they had fun with it. They blew it up. They made videos, and that dude lost it. And it's like you said, it's the dark humor. It's you know what the subject matter is going to be. It's just, how is he going to say it this time? How is he going to throw in a joke in the middle of it this time? That's not really a joke because he's talking about like heavy topics, but he's saying it in a crazy way because he's like, it's so crazy I almost have to laugh at how in the world am I still here after doing some of the insane stuff I was doing.
It's a great time to be alive. You know, it's a great time to look for escape because we got a lot of things we can escape to. And, you know, you and I, we like music, and people are giving it to us.
Yeah.
People are starting to, like, remember people were getting cute with it. Now people are like, no, you know what? Let's just give the people what they want.
And just that, yeah. And again, we don't got to overstay our welcomes because we're not trying to sell an individual CD most times. So we're not feeling like we got to give you an hour. If we got 20 minutes, here's 20 minutes. You got 40 minutes, we got 40 minutes. But it's gonna be it's gonna be rock solid, and we're gonna be ready to roll, and we got it. That's it. And just think too, man, we're coming from the era of shows getting canceled. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We're coming from the era of, you know, shows disappearing, shows getting canceled, shows not being easy to find. Like, pre-broadband internet, you know, pre-streaming. You couldn't binge watch stuff. We were talking about this before we hit record. We have shows that in our head we feel like we watched a lot and we loved, but we never even saw all the episodes in order of the show. Like, not at all. So it's like, for us to be in a universe where not only a rapper like this and a bunch of these guys exist, you can just rattle it off. You could just go hit play and just go into a 38 Spesh ravine and just hang out in 38 Spesh Valley for like 3 hours and have the time of your life, catching the jokes, waiting for them to say trust, and just do it.
We came up in an era where I thought, listening to all kind of music, I thought like, all right, so you got to allow this person to go through their process. So it's going to take 6 months for them to veg out and write music. And then they're going to have to spend like 3 months in that studio. And then there's going to need to be 6 months of prepping how to put the album out. And it can't go before the Green Day album, but we don't want it to sell through Christmas at that time, so we're going to wait till New Year. But now just drop it out. We're done. We'll drop it out. And like, no, I don't gotta sit up in a dark studio and just smoke cigars nonstop. Like, no, I'm just going to write it and it's out. So we're living in like an abundance time now, Arthur.
Yeah, it's hard. And sometimes you get so much music. We talk about it on the other end. We used to be longing and lacking. And now we're in spots where it's like, man, I didn't even know this dude put out an album. He had an album 3 weeks ago. Oh, crap. I didn't even hear that one. And then you go here and you're like, man, this is good. Crap, I'm glad I didn't miss it. And sometimes you do miss it. And you come back, like, even when you just... The way stuff is cataloged now, like being able to get to even 80% of some of these guys' catalog is really impressive. Like just the volume of really good music some of these people have.
Well, guys, look, let us know. Listen to the link, 38 Spesh Early Morning. We would love to get your feedback on this one. I want to thank our Patreon subscribers because they are the reason why this show in particularly is in existence, and that's Alan Wright. He's Bold Outlaw, boldoutlaw.com. DJ Merc, also known as Merc Bandwidth on the music platforms. He's the sound of the Right On Network. Check his music out. We have Tim Price. Listen to him on the Outcasters, Avengers, Under Siege, new podcast at the Right On Network. Check it out. Cluck Trent. We have Mark Blair. Paul Hicks over in Australia. Gotta love the Paul. Laurel Phillips. Check her out on the new Checkmate podcast. Super spy stuff. The Irredeemable Shag. He just released a new episode of JSA in the 1990s over on the Fire and Water Podcast Network. Justin Steiner of Shoot Fly Pie on Substack. Shoot Fly Pie. Rick from Jeff and Rick present Unpacking the Power of Power Pack. Listen to Chris Pine 1 and myself on this particular feed talking about 30 Minutes to Get Back, where we're covering the Peter Jackson documentary of the Beatles, 30 Minutes to Get Back. 30 minutes at a time. 30 Minutes to Get Back. Clinton Robeson of Fan Film Fridays and Coffee and Comics. The great and wonderful Jordan Holtz. Thank you for going to patreon.com/Right On Network. And just for a little as $1 a month, less than a stale cup of coffee, you can be a Patreon subscriber and get the extras. Like right now, I'm still doing the unboxings, and that's video and audio. So until next time, this is AJ saying, keep your lamplight trimmed and burning.
And keep on jamming.